video is going to talk you through how to add users to Canvas courses for summer school of 2021. We're going to show you how to add teachers, students, and admins. One disclaimer we want to be very, very clear about is these procedures are for summer school only. Many of these actions should not be performed during the school year on a PowerSchool generated course, or else these actions could cause many problems for both students and teachers, including but not limited to grade syncing issues and many other things. So again, any of these things we're going to show you in this video, for the most part, you should not do during the school year. So let's jump right in. The first thing you're going to want to probably end up having to do is adding a student to a Canvas course. You may find that enrollment information was not provided to us in time, or for whatever reason, that student was not enrolled into a Canvas course by the beginning of summer school. One of the things you need to know before you can add a student to a Canvas course is the section you're going to add them to. And so you may already know that section ID going in, or you may need to check Canvas to figure out which one they're going to go into. So I'm going to jump into a course over at Whitewater Middle, and this is their grade 6 math grade 6 class. So I'm going to jump into that right here. Let's see. And so inside of this course, in order to find this section and to enroll students, I'm going to go over to the left and find people. Okay. On the people page, I'm going to see kind of a table of information. So I'm going to see the name of the students and teachers, their login ID, SysID, but most importantly for this part, I'm going to see section, and that's a column. Most of the sections are numbered things like 1, 2, 3, maybe 100, 200 kind of thing, 0.1. It kind of depends and varies site by site. But you're going to want to go through and figure out what section the student you're about to add belongs to. And so that is the first step. Once we have determined the section, so for example, I know that this student is also going to go in the same section as this student. So I know they're going to go in section 3. I now can follow the next step of adding the user. Okay. And I'm actually going to add them by clicking up here in the top right corner where it says people. I'm going to add plus people. And for students, I want to draw your attention to how we're going to do this. So we're going to click on plus people. We're going to select login ID specifically for students in this little box. We're going to enter their ID numbers, and we're going to separate them by commas. We're going to make sure we've determined their role as student. We're going to drop down to the correct section, and then we're going to click next and make sure it populates with that student's information. I'm going to add example student. So I'm going to add example student 1. Again, this would be their ID number. Okay, so if I wanted to add another student, I would add another ID number. Okay, so in your case, it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever that student ID number is, comma, the rest of it. Okay, so notice that I am writing each student ID number, but most importantly, I'm not doing this by email address. I'm doing it by login ID. Okay, this is not a real student, but these are example students. Notice I want it to be a student role, and I'm going to select the section. So we just determined it's going to be section 3. So I'm going to select that they're going to get added to section 3. Okay. The next step is to click next. And notice I am seeing that their names have been populated. So my example student names have been populated. You would see their ID number and the name of the student. So for example, you would have put in the ID number, and now this would say Johnny Smith, right? Or you would have put in the ID number, and this would now say Jane Doe. Okay. You want to make sure that those are accurate before you click add users. It's very easy to have mistyped those numbers. I would strongly encourage you to copy and paste them from somewhere you know the ID number is correct. Okay. So then I click add users. Now, the difference between these is if I go to search for example student 1 and 2, you will notice they now say pending. There is a difference between adding them manually in this way versus us doing it for you as a Canvas admin team. So we as a Canvas admin team have enrolled all the students we were provided data on. If this student was not in that data set, that student is going to have to be added manually in the way I just showed you, and it's actually going to be pending. What this means is that this student, in order to actually see this course, has to accept this invitation. So we've added a student. Now we want to add a teacher. It's the same process that we just followed, but that role is going to be different. We're going to drop the role down to teacher instead. And then I'll be able to show you how you accept an invitation. So again, we're going to go to the people page of the course we want to add to. We're going to add a person. And in this case, I'm going to add ITPD support. And I want you to notice that for a teacher, I am adding by email address. You can add by login ID for teachers. If you do login ID, you're going to need to use their NC Ed Cloud ID. Okay. If you don't have their NC Ed Cloud, you may have email address instead. A lot of times for teachers, that's going to be the more easy information for you to get your hands on. So email address is okay for teachers as well. So notice I've left it as email address. I'm putting in email address, but I need to change the role from student to teacher. And again, I'm going to add this teacher to the third section as well. Okay, so I'm going to click next. It's going to auto-populate with the email address and the information for ITPD support. So I'm going to add this user. And now I'll be able to show you what that looks like. So again, I'm going to go search for ITPD. I'm going to show you that it says pending. Okay, so now if I go over here to my dashboard, we'll be able to see what that looks like. So as a user that has been manually added and not auto-enrolled by the Canvas admin team or by PowerSchool, we see up here at the top, there is an invitation to join. So this user has been invited to join Math Grade 6 as a teacher, and they have to click accept. If they don't click accept, I want you to notice that course is not here on their dashboard. Once I click accept, I will now see that course on my dashboard, okay? And so it's very important that we see that. Now, right now, this course is not going to populate because it is not June 14th yet, and so this course has not started yet. But I do want you to understand that this invitation piece is very important, and it's different from what a user would normally see if they're auto-enrolled by the Canvas admin team. But again, we just didn't have that data in time, so we want to show you how to manually add a user. So when you manually add a user, a student or teacher, you need to remind them that they have to accept that invitation, and they can do so by going to their dashboard at the very top and clicking accept. Okay. Once they click accept, you'll notice that that pending goes away. And so that is one piece that we want you to at least be aware of, because it is a little bit different than what you're probably used to seeing during the school year. So I'm going to go back to that course and just show you that the word pending is no longer there for ITPD support. And notice it says 2 invitations have been accepted. Those are the 2 users, example 1 and example 2. But notice ITPD no longer has that pending beside their name. Okay, so that's how we add teachers and students. We're going to move forward to how do I edit a role? Let's say you made a mistake here, and instead, you know what, ITPD was not supposed to be a teacher. They were supposed to be a student. So if I click on the 3 dots here on the user page, and by the way, searching here is a really good idea, especially if there's a lot of users in this course. So I've searched, and notice it populates. You don't have to search the whole name. You can just start typing a little bit of it, and it'll auto-populate for you the users that match that query. So over here on the right, I click these 3 dots. I can click edit section or edit role. Edit section, let's say I've realized, oh no, it actually should be in a different section. So I can choose that section instead, say they're supposed to be in section 6 instead, and I can update that. I can also update their role and say, you know what, they're actually supposed to be a student, and update that as well. Okay, so I want you to be able to see that from these 3 dots, you can edit those 2 things. I can also decide, you know what, this user's in the whole wrong course, and I can remove them from the course as well. Okay, again, these actions should not be done during a normal school year, but we are showing you how to do that because a lot of this data has come in kind of last minute, and we want you to be able to get your users in as quickly as possible. Okay, so this is how we would add students, add teachers, and then edit their role should we need to do so inside of a Canvas course. Okay. The last thing we want to show you is if you are a site admin and you want to add somebody else as a site admin so they have access to all of the courses at your summer school site. So for example, if you're normally an assistant principal and you have a tech contact at your site who is a little more comfortable with Canvas and is able to assist you with this, that you trust to work inside of Canvas to help you with this. You can also add them as a summer school site admin with yourself. At the moment, every principal and site admin has already been added in a list that we were given, but you may have other site admins who can act as Canvas admins and help you with this. So typically at a school, you have probably anywhere from 3 to maybe 10 Canvas admins, depending on their role. So you may have other people that you need to add. So I'm going to show you that process rather quickly. So if you are a Canvas admin, you will know this because you will have a little shield with a key in the side of it over on the global navigation on the left. If you click on that, you will see your summer school sub account. It'll be different than what you normally see. So for example, if I really was at Whitewater Middle, I would normally during the school year just see Whitewater Middle. But now instead I see this Camp CMS 21 underscore the name of my school. That is my summer school sub account. So I want to make sure I'm adding them to my summer school sub account. Okay, so I'm going to go to that sub account by clicking there. And then I'm going to go down to settings. And then up here at the top, there are going to be some tabs. I'm going to click on admins, and I'm going to be able to add an admin. Okay, so I'm actually going to remove myself and then re-add myself. All right, so I'm going to add an account admin, and I can do account admin for the summer. We're just going to go with account admins. It's easier. We're not going to worry about the distinction between account admin and school admin. During the school year, we kind of handle this for you for the most part. Sometimes you have to add a couple of other users, but most of y'all are familiar with that process who need to do that during the school year. All right, so I'm going to do IT PD support. You are doing this as the whole email address, and so you can add that email address in. Similar to when you add a user, you want to make sure their name and stuff populates here and that it's correct, and then click OK, good, looks good. And up here, we're going to see that that account has now been added. Okay, IT PD support. So that's how you add an account admin to your summer school site. And again, you only want to do this for somebody who is comfortable adminning for a site. If you make a mistake, just click the X and you can remove them. Don't remove yourself because you may need to be in that. We've added you for a reason more than likely, and you'll lose access. So again, you know you're an admin because you have the shield over here and you're looking for it over here. Notice that because I've removed ITPD support as an account, I'm no longer seeing that on that panel. Okay, so this is how you can add a variety of different users, and these are processes you may need to do this summer. But again, I really want to draw your attention to these are summer school only processes. Normally, during a regular school year, much of this is managed by the Canvas admin team or by Power School, and we would not want you to do this because it can cause a variety of different issues. So adding students manually is a big no-no during the school year. Adding teachers manually is very situation dependent, okay? So you want to be very careful during the school year for doing some of these processes, but we do need you to know how to do it for this summer. If you have any questions or concerns or you need assistance with this, please put in a Sharewell ticket and we will get to them as quickly as possible. We will be diligently doing what we can to support you as best as we can. Thank you so much and have a great summer.